I'm on top,
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here, aka Mr. Sunburn. I've been lifting for over 20 years. I hold a degree in exercise and sports science, and I've been coaching others for 10 plus years. On this channel, we're all about evidence-based muscle growth or hypertrophy training. In today's workout, we're going to go through lower body workout number 2 for the week. I'm going to show you what I do, explain why I do it, and show you how to execute so you can apply it to your own training. Happy New Year. This is workout number 1. This is January 1st. And I've got a little story for you on January 1st. I remember back when I was a young trainer and there was a colleague of mine or a guy I used to work with, and he was training on Australia Day or a particular holiday, and he posted on some sort of social media, and someone commented he was actually our old TAFE teacher. TAFE here in Australia is like where you get your fitness qualifications and some other qualifications like that, so where you become a personal trainer. And he said on this comment of my colleague training on Australia Day or something like that, or another holiday, he said, like, you know, the gym's great and all, but why don't you, go and do something on Australia Day, go and have some fun on Australia Day. And at the time, I kind of agreed with my teacher. I thought, oh yeah, like, why is he training on Australia Day? That should be a day for celebration. But I now understand that he just loved training, and I feel that way too. This is January 1st. This is a New Year's Day, and I think, like, why not train on New Year's Day? I have no reason not to. But yeah, some people might think this is a bit weird, a bit bizarre. People might have been up late last night, all these kinds of things. But this is the thing I love, so there's no real issue in me doing it on a holiday, early morning, any of these things, because you love it so much, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's a little sidebar. Number 1 for today. Make sure you subscribe and like. You won't regret it, or you might regret it, but at least you'll have done me a solid. Number 2, Coach Dan, question of the day. What is your split to start 2026? Are you doing a pretty conventional split, as in training split? Are you doing upper body, lower body like me? Are you doing push, pull, lower? Are you doing some other combination? Let me know in the comments down below. What's your split to start 2026? So as mentioned, this is a lower body day. However, because of my current split, I'm putting my lateral deltoid training, so lateral raises, which is today, and on this cable machine, on my lower body day. My lower body day, or my legs, should I say, don't usually require as much volume. So my upper body requires more volume across the board. So we've got a fair few sets on upper body days already. Lower body days would be a quite short training day. And if I shifted the lateral delts to that upper body day, now that's a really long day, and this will be a really short day. So instead, I'm putting this on a lower body day, lateral delts, and we'll see how the recovery goes. We'll see if there's any effect. I have a feeling that it's going to be non-issue and it shouldn't be affected by things like pressing or rows or anything like that, but we shall see. So first exercise we kick off is a behind the back seated lateral raise. So what I've got here is these cuffs that people might use for things like kickbacks and the such. I'm going to have them around my wrists. I've got this seat in front of me, so I'm going to sit down with these set behind the back. So this does look a little bit of a funny setup, but it's not actually too bad once you've kind of got your way of doing it. So essentially what we do, we take each cuff. I've got it nice and tight, so when I get into position, they're not sliding around or anything like that. And all we're going to do is a simple step over of this and then get into position. Now, that might seem a little bit unusual and whatnot, but it's not so bad. I think people think, oh, that's different. Why are you doing that? Do dumbbell lateral raises and stuff like that. But this feels way better than dumbbell lateral raises to me, and it doesn't seem like that big a deal, so I do it. So behind the back, we've got that set quite low, such that it's going to be nice and difficult at the beginning. So if we have this set, too high, it's not really hard at the beginning. You're kind of working. Essentially, you want that such that you're going to be pulling directly against it at the beginning. So set directly in line with your hand or wrist, and then we're raising out. So at the beginning, I'll set the height of that cable machine and the angle and all that kind of such that I'm going to be going directly against it. So I'm lining up to go directly against the cable. So if I set that a little bit wider, my hands will be going wider, and it's your preference what you do, but I want to go pretty straight on this day. So we're kind of coming out on that 45-degree angle. So my cable machine arms are pretty low. When we're finished, we're simply one arm, step over, one arm. Now that probably does limit our rep range a little bit. We're probably not going super heavy on this because then we would have to haul super heavy weights into position. And that's probably, might waste a little bit of juice. So moderate rep range, even light-ish. I'm going to go 10 to 20, 5 sets before we hit our lower body work. All right, New Year's Day, let's get a first workout of New Year's Day underway. I think one thing that I do want to do this year and be really focused on is being super engaged on every set, very mindful and training really hard. Those are some of my little goals. Not to be, I don't think I'm ever necessarily a wussy, but I do want to make sure each set is hard, each set has intent, and yes, that's the goal. So I'm going to go into each set, focus in, and get locked in, as the kids say.
Just tell me that I can. 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 Cause I just wanna hear it out your mouth, yeah. Give me fuel, it's a tool that I use to go ahead and run my mouth, yeah. I take shots, I take loss, I make shots, I miss lots. That's how you get big box, you get yachts, you swing lots and pop off a big shot. I ain't done chasing, got big dreams, bigger things, impatient. Who's at the top think they need replacement? Who's at the top think I'm gonna...
All right, next up we have our multi-squat, hammer strength. I think this is called a multi-squat. I've seen it called a lot of different things. Started doing this at the previous gym I was at, and since we've moved, I was hoping, this next gym, because it felt so good at that gym, I hope that has it, and it does. So we're going to do it today. So we're going to do a stiff-legged deadlift on today, biasing it more towards the hamstrings. Glutes obviously going to get involved back, or has to work quite hard. The reason I'm doing it on here versus I've done these on belt squats before, the standard barbell variation, even a Smith machine variation, is because of the loading. So you can see there's two horns. You can see this hinge here at the beginning. This horn is closest to this hinge. So at the bottom, it starts off hard, but as this comes up and it gets above the hinge, it's going to get a little bit easier because this point, as it relates to the force, which is coming straight down, is going to be closer to this point. So hard at the beginning, hard when your muscles are stretched, and easier as you go through, which potentially has some merit. Now, that is not a conclusive take home, just something that you might consider in your training as changing the resistance on things throughout the movement, and at least in part, it would look like making it hard in the lengthened position has got some merit. So that's something to consider. So two handles here. I'm going to go the bottom handle to allow for a nice range of motion. I know from practicing this a few times that I want to step slightly in front of the machine, which keeps me most balanced. My hips are going to remain pretty high, which is going to allow a big stretch through the hamstring. And before I begin, I'm going to take a deep breath, get my back nice and tight, and get that tension to my hamstring. So it'll be here. So considerations, I might consider adding something under my feet here just to allow for a slightly larger range of motion. I feel I can get a bit more stretch in that bottom position, but ultimately, me likey, I'm going to stick with this one, see if I can't get really strong at it, see if we can't get the plates all the way out to the end, and then even start to load this one down here. Okay, hamstrings first. This is going to start with hamstrings. Each day for my lower body, I like to give the exercise kind of its own start. So like as an example, quads got to start the other day, like the big movement, should I say, starts on one day. You know, everything gets, you know, you don't want to have favorite children, they say. So hamstrings is the favorite child today, but it's a little bit a little bit outshined by the lateral raise. But anyway, all in all, if we have multiple days worth and you have no real preference or priority, you can kind of mix up so when you go to that exercise, you have the most energy. All right, let's hit our stiff-legged deadlifts or stiffies.
They're just downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown.
So a quick one before we go on here, so I don't forget. I think this being New Year's Day, a thought that's come to mind is that people, and coaching others and all this kind of stuff, people like the idea of a fresh start. And that's why they might start things in New Year's and new weeks and stuff like that. I'll start my diet again in the new week. I'll start my exercise plan in the new year. But I think if you go to rely on that all the time, what happens when you don't have those things, those new starts, fresh starts, all that kind of stuff? That's why I'm always recommending we develop motivation from the inside, or intrinsic motivation. If we rely on stuff happening from the extrinsic or the outside only, like sometimes it can be a good thing to get some accountability, pressure, reward system for the outside while you develop your intrinsic motivation. But if you don't develop that intrinsic motivation, what happens when that extrinsic motivation goes? It's like a kid who gets stars or stickers or some sort of present reward for reading a book. They're not really developing the intrinsic motivation to read the book. They're doing it for the star. Now, what happens when the star goes away? Are they still likely to continue read? Maybe, but without developing the intrinsic motivation, probably not, because there's no reason within themselves to do it without that present or reward coming in. So that's the thing to keep in mind as it relates to motivation, is that, at some level, I, even being a personal trainer or coach, I provide some level of extrinsic motivation, but the person themselves, in my mind, should always develop some level of intrinsic motivation. So there was a theory called the self-determination theory, which was all about intrinsic motivation, which was if you kind of develop and foster autonomy or the choice to do things, you have some level of relatedness or connection with another person, potentially going through the same situation or in a similar spot to you. And then also competency, so seeing yourself get better. If you kind of tick those boxes, this theory, the self-determination theory, basically says that's a way in which you can develop intrinsic motivation. So that's just a theory and a model and stuff like that, but at least it's something to kind of work off of. So keep that in mind. If we're always relying on fresh starts or extrinsic motivation, there might be some level of disappointment when that goes away, and therefore a lack of adherence, basically. Okay, so we have this power squat machine. Now, this exercise at the previous gym, maybe 3-ish weeks ago, I was doing directly after that multi-squat. These things all have different names across time. That machine where I did the stiff-legged deadlift, I was doing my split squats on there. So in that position, rear foot elevated on the machine itself. Beautiful. I want to try them on here just to kind of load me a little bit differently. And by load me, I mean not have weight in my hands and put it here. So we're just kind of mixing that up, as well as I just want to try it and see if it's good. It has a similar kind of benefit. If you saw me do my squats 2 days ago on lower body day number 1, it has the similar benefits, which is these horns for weighting and weighting different parts of the movement. So this horn and that hinge, as I get to the bottom position, will be pretty similar as far as height. So therefore making it hardest at the beginning. And then as it hinges or starts to go that way, it will get easier. So for me, I potentially think that has value because we're making it hard when the muscle is stretched. But there is an occasion to kind of load this one. So for example, if you have a issue or an injury and making it really hard aggravates it, and making it really hard in the stretched position aggravates it, then you might load this one. And what that will allow you to do, you'll still be able to go through the good range of motion, get that good stretch, but with not the heavy loading in that stretched position, but it will get harder as you go through the movement. So there's definitely a time and a place for both. I'm inclined to kind of lean towards this one for the time being because of the current science surrounding the stretch position. Now, not conclusive, early days yet as far as science goes, but nonetheless. So it's going to be a splits foot, rear foot elevated. I brought our little block over from the deadlifts to elevate the front foot as well for range of motion. I'll essentially bring my head through here. Foot on the platform. I'm still working this out. This will be the grand total of second time of me doing it. We go up, foot goes back, handles in, and we're on. So by the end of a movement like this, I want my chest to essentially be on my leg. And what that means is that's basically the best range of movement for this one that I can do for my hip. So I'm bringing that all the way to this. Best range of motion I can do for my hip, and therefore getting the best stretch I can through my quad. That's the idea. I don't think I'm going to need heaps of weight on here. We might start with like 10 kgs per side, but looking forward to this. Again, this machine on the overall, I think the new age popular one of this type of thing, there's nothing wrong with this machine. I think I quite like it. The new age version of this is called a Rogers Power Squat or something of the such. I think I looked that up online. This is an old school hammer strength machine. I couldn't find them making it anymore when I looked online, but maybe I'm not searching correctly. Anyway, let's get a little bit of weight on there and let's get into it.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions, each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got my own issues, I need a comb to get through. Don't need to go with you, just go get your own tissues.
Oh. All right, split squats done. Muy bien. My ass feels like it's on my back. It's growing up my back, that's the goal. So next up, we shift to our quad dominant movement. Now those split squats for sure use the quads, but we were biasing that more towards the glutes. So when I track volume, things that are indirect muscles are tracked as half a set for that muscle group in my program, which I'll show you. And muscles that are the direct worker that I feel are the limiting factor, they get one set. So for example, those 2 sets of split squats per leg counts as 2 sets to the glutes, 1, 2, but only 1 set to the quads, half and half. And there's no concrete way to do that and to kind of know that that is actually the case. But the idea of fractional sets was somewhat recently kind of suggested or researched within some volume research, a meta-analysis on volume, and that using fractional sets appears to be representative of more fractional sets equals more muscle growth, so that fractional sets actually make sense. They align with their model the best, but again, it's just my way, not definite, and I track it all in my program and I automate it and all that kind of stuff. And what that means is then, so if a lot of the things, some muscles might get a lot of half sets because they're just, helping, but they're not the limiting factor on a muscle group. Like a lot of the back work, so I do plenty of back work at the moment. Rear delt is getting in on that action on all different variations of back work. So that gets a half set for all those, such that the rear delt work itself, I don't do heaps of. That's just an example. Anyway, with all that said, now we move on to the quad dominant movement, pendulum squat or pendulum squat. So the pendulum squat, something to keep in mind here. Again, I just spoke about 2 movements where we made it hard in the stretch position. This one here, because the hinge point's up here where I'm going to be starting my squatting movement, it's not going to be the hardest at the bottom, but the hardest as you get towards the top. So theoretically, that might be not ideal, but on 2 of my other lower body days per week, I do quad dominant exercises that are hard in the lengthen or stretch positions, like squatting on that hammer strength power squat machine. So on this day, I actually don't think this is a bad idea, maybe to make it not as hard in that stretch position, still jack the quads up a little bit, let the knees and joints and all that kind of stuff in that stretch position not to work as hard. That's number 1. Number 2, I just really haven't found it out for myself. So in my training career, these are more recent. They've come onto the scene somewhat recently, become pretty popular somewhat recently. So when I first started, never used them. Then I learned about the importance of training muscles in a lengthened position, and because I was a dumbass, I then avoided most exercises that weren't hard in the lengthened position. But now I've come to sort of have a little bit more of a nuanced approach, and I think there's a time and a place for movements that aren't as hard in the stretch position. Anyway, enough rambling. So when I go to do a movement that's quad dominant, I want to set my feet as low as possible such that I get lots of knee flexion and not a lot of hip flexion, but only so low that I can keep my heels on the platform. I've also got these weightlifting shoes which allow for an increased ankle movement, or increased ankle dorsiflexion, such that I can then sink down into squat nice and comfortably. So what we'll do on the pendulum squat is we'll kind of unhook, control the descent, get nice and low. So I can feel my heels peeling off here, so I can tell I'm a little bit low. The other option would be also to face my toes out more, but I'm going to go a little bit higher on the platform. And now I can keep my heels on there and come out of there like such. And that's the pendulum squat. So again, not the hecticest quad day today. We're only going to do 2 sets on that. We get a couple of accessory sets from the split squat, and that's all for quads, but they get a lot of love on the other day. So just getting that little bit of extra work in. All right, let's man up and do it. You're not supposed to say man up. Sorry, that's the old me talking. Let's person up and do it.
Best in the game,
invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, for this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Too lost with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the cross with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, I'm beating it. Like glass,
Okay, this is a tough workout. I'm pretty happy with it though, pretty fun. People take New Year's Day and New Year's Eve celebrations somewhat seriously. It's been known in the gym the whole time I've been here. So people have obviously celebrated somewhat hard. Anyway, you don't need to hear me ramble on too much. Let's not talk as much shit as we have for the other stuff. You don't need too much for this. This is machine adduction. Focusing on the adductors, which are a group of muscles through the inner part of your leg or inner thigh that pull your leg together and also help flex your hip. I do this on 2 of my lower days per week. On day 1, which was the other day, I did a 5 to 10 rep range. On this day, I'll do a 10 to 15 rep range just to mix it up somewhat. So you'll notice that with a lot of my other exercises, I choose different exercise selections to get the job done. So like an example, if I just pendulum squatted then, a quad exercise 2 days ago was the squat variation on the power squat. My leg exercise 2 days from now is going to be this new lying hack squat that I've started at this gym. So I like to choose different exercise selections. Here it is somewhat limited and I don't care that much to kind of go, oh, I'm going to get this. To set something up for adduction, which is bringing your legs towards your midline or towards your center, I know you'd get a cable machine, you'd have to get a cuff, put your leg out. There's a multi-hip machine here which you'd use, but I'm just not a massive fan of that. And again, it's not that big a priority or a bigger weakness that I think needs worrying about, because on all the squatting exercises, if your feet are turned out slightly, hip extension exercises such as the deadlift, if your feet are turned out slightly, your adductors can help with that. So I just do this machine for ease and yeah, not a massive priority. Anyway, one of the things I do is set this out as wide as my flexibility will allow. For this particular machine, I'll also kind of mount it from here. Slide down into position seems to be the best way to go. If you get in here and you try and bring your legs over, it's pretty difficult. Leaning back, I think, is smart because the flexed hip might also shorten those adductors. So leaning back all the way to the pad allows. Knees towards one another, control the out, gentle tap, knees in. And that's going to be our adduction. We do this, and I'm trying to figure out a superset with some calves. I know what ab exercise I want to do, but I normally like to do them as superset to save time, but when we get there I'll explain that all the calf exercises that I might like are like 15 meters away, so it might not be very efficient. Anyway, let's do it.
Do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do it for? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Let's go! Hey! Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die, and this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done, but what's the point of living if it ain't having fun?
All right, I found a calf exercise that's close to my ab exercise to be able to do in a superset. So a superset being 2 exercises somewhat back to back. So I'll do a set of calf raises on this vertical leg press, they might call it. Walk, you know, maybe 4 meters, do my abdominal crunch machine, and just come back and forth. No rush, but we're just saving time. So if I were to do this on its own, I might take 1 to 2 minutes break, do another set, 1 to 2 minutes break, do another set, then go over there and do the same. We're saving, I don't know, I think maybe like 70% of the time. So that's worthwhile. Plus we're at the end of the workout. Plus calves and abs shouldn't affect each other too much. Plus they're not too systemically fatiguing. Like if I was to try and get off of the deadlift and go and do something else, might be not so good. But here it's fine. Do they still make these machines? Because I don't see anyone use this for the leg press purposes. I like it for calf raises because we're unloading the spine. And yeah, it's right over there. This could be any leg press. If you don't have a vertical leg press, it could be 45 degrees, could be a machine calf raise. Whatever works for you, you like, is efficient for you. Belt squat calf raise, Smith machine calf raise. The reason I don't do Smith machine calf raise is just putting another bar on my shoulders. But this doesn't really, this doing it on here, what I'm trying to say, listen. What I'm trying to say is this is not a special exercise. It's just efficient for me to go on here. It's good. It's efficient for me to go from here, walk over there, and it feels pretty effective. So we go pretty much hips or legs directly under where our feet are going to go. We'll push up, heel stretch underneath, raise up on the toes. Heel stretch, raise. Bada bing, bada boom. That is it. Happy days. We've got loading options on this side and this side. For this one, I've never really used this kind of leg press machine, but I'm going to do it on this side so my calves don't hit anything on here. All right, let me show you our abdominal machine. Okay, this is called a hammer strength abdominal / oblique crunch machine. Now, I think this is going to be pretty good. I've never really used this machine I've just never really used this machine, but I like it because it both crunches from the bottom and from the top. So if there's any sort of regional difference between doing abdominal exercises like leg raises and crunches, we're getting these both in the same exercise. That's pretty good. The loading here is maybe not what I'd call ideal, but for the sake of getting a crunch movement from both sides or an abdominal movement from both sides, I'm sacrificing that. So I'm going to try and make sure I keep my head on the pad so I can open up my abs, and then I'm going to crunch together by raising both this and pulling this down at the same time until I get as low as I can go, essentially. Might take a bit of practice, this one, never really done it, but feels pretty good. Might have to adjust and figure out my height and whatnot, but that'll be it. So we'll go get on that calf raise, about 10 to 20 reps, walk over here, 5 meters max, do set on here, and like in between I'll jot down my reps on my program such that you get a little bit of time between them. But again, like you're not getting off on this and being like heaving like you might on a big squat or a big deadlift or a big movement, you know, not completely taxed and out of breath. So we can save a little bit of time here towards the back end of the workout, and they should be equally as good. All right, let's finish the workout off.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm
I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me, but they hate from inside. You see, hate themselves in society, so I let